first time I noticed, it was just a whisper. I placed my hand on the table to help me stand up. Just for balance, I told myself. But the next morning it happened again and again. I wasn't weak. I wasn't sick. I was just over 60. And for some reason, that had started to mean I couldn't trust my legs the way I used to. Then I saw a video of a 93-year-old man in Okinawa who still squatted to tie his shoes. No brace, no help, just strong legs, steady and sure. How? Not from the gym, not from pills, from a bowl of soup, every single morning for over 40 years. That one detail changed my life. Because it wasn't just about soup, it was about strength, about dignity, about deciding that just because I'm aging doesn't mean I have to give up moving freely. And today, I want to show you the bowl that brought my legs back. Not a miracle, not a trend, just one warm ritual that you can start tomorrow, even if you've never boiled water in your life. Let's begin. I used to think I was doing fine. Sure, I got a little slower climbing stairs. Sure, my knees made that funny sound when I stood too quickly. But nothing serious, right? Then one morning, I dropped a sock. I bent down to pick it up, and when I tried to stand, I couldn't. Not without grabbing the edge of the bed, not without using my hands. It wasn't just a wobble. It was like my legs had forgotten how to lift me. I sat there holding the sock, staring at the floor, pretending I wasn't scared. But I was, because I realized that I had started to adjust my life around my weakness. I chose chairs with arms. I avoided low couches. I skipped walks if the sidewalk looked uneven. Slowly, without noticing, I had begun to surrender my independence. That morning was a wake-up call. Not because I couldn't stand, but because I hadn't noticed how much I had stopped trying. Later that day, scrolling through my phone, I stumbled on a clip of a man in his 90s tying his shoes in a deep squat. No struggle, no help, just grace. And what caught me wasn't his posture. It was the quiet confidence in the way he moved, like he didn't question his body. He trusted it. Every morning he fueled it, with one humble bowl of soup. That was the moment I decided. I want to move like that again. I want to wake up and trust my legs. And if it starts with a bowl, then I'm ready to learn, because maybe strength doesn't leave us. Maybe we just stop feeding it. In the quiet villages of Okinawa, people well into their 80s and 90s are still doing the things we're told to give up after 60. Sweeping their porches, gardening on their knees, climbing ladders to pick fruit. And it all begins with one small decision each morning. The choice to eat with purpose. Let's go there now and see what they've known all along. I always thought aging meant slowing down, that it was normal to ache, normal to creak, normal to hand over little pieces of your freedom. One stair, one shoe, one walk at a time. But then I looked across the Pacific to Okinawa. And what I saw there quietly challenged everything I believed about growing older. In a quiet village at sunrise, an 82-year-old woman named Ko stood at her window. She bent down, smooth and steady, pulled on her socks and stepped outside. She didn't wince. She didn't brace herself. She just moved the way we all used to. Across the street, her neighbor Tishi, 90, was already in his garden, kneeling in the dirt, humming to himself as he watered the green onions. They weren't doing anything extraordinary. That's what made it extraordinary. No walkers, no trainers, no personal chefs or supplements, just strong legs, clear eyes, and a sense of rhythm with the day. In Okinawa, this isn't a miracle. It's the norm. You don't see people pushing through pain or constantly adjusting their lives around their limitations. You see them living, moving, laughing, sharing tea. And behind it all is a culture that doesn't fear aging. It prepares for it. They don't chase youth. They nourish strength. Every single morning before anything else happens, a pot is set on the stove, not a protein shake, not a frozen breakfast sandwich, a bowl of soup, warm, mineral-rich, lovingly made. That's when it hit me. Maybe we age faster not because of time, but because of how we treat our mornings. Maybe aging in America feels so hard because we try to outrun it instead of moving with it. In Okinawa, they don't wait until they feel weak to eat for strength. They eat so they don't become weak. But if you're like me, you've probably never heard of sarcopenia. The quiet condition stealing our strength year after year. It starts small, a little wobble, a little grunt. And before you know it, the floor feels further away than ever. Let's take a closer look at this hidden epidemic and how one bowl might help fight back. It doesn't happen all at once. There's no headline, no warning siren, just a subtle shift. So small, you might miss it. You pause a moment longer before standing up. You use your hands to rise from a chair. You avoid kneeling, not because you can't, but because you're not sure you can get back up. You call it getting older. But there's a name for this. It's called sarcopenia. The slow, quiet loss of muscle mass that begins in our 40s and accelerates after 50. By the time we hit 70, we may have lost up to 30% of our muscle strength. And the legs? They're hit the hardest. The consequences go beyond stiffness or soreness. When your legs weaken, your world shrinks. You stop walking far. You skip social outings. You avoid stairs, uneven paths, even dancing at weddings. And here's the worst part. The less you move, the weaker you get. It's a cruel loop. A downward spiral hiding in plain sight. I didn't know I was in that spiral. Not until my body started saying no to the things I used to do without thinking. And yet, thousands of miles away, 80 and 90-year-olds in Okinawa are still sweeping their porches, riding bicycles, even gardening on their knees. What are they doing differently? Yes, genes play a part, but that's only a small piece of the puzzle. The real difference? They eat with intention. Before they ask their legs to move, they feed them, not with cereal, not with toast, with something deeper, warmer. A soup designed not just to fill the belly, but to fuel the body. That's not tradition. That's strategy. And the best part? You don't have to live in Okinawa to bring that strategy home. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what's inside that bowl. The quiet recipe that's kept generations strong without pills, powders, or gym memberships. And why each ingredient does more than feed you. It protects you. In America, breakfast is often a blur. Toast in one hand, phone in the other. Coffee gulped on the way to a to-do list that never ends. But in Okinawa, breakfast is a ritual. Each morning begins not with urgency, but with a pot, a small flame, a quiet choice. A strip of kelp is placed into water, a few coins of daikon, slices of ginger, maybe a sweet potato or a sliver of pork. The ingredients aren't loud, they don't scream flavor, they simmer gently, patiently, as the house slowly wakes. And in that quiet, something powerful happens. The body is told, you matter. This isn't fuel for convenience, it's nourishment for movement. A warm, mineral-rich invitation to start the day from a place of balance, not burnout. No one's rushing to a gym. No one's popping anti-inflammatory pills. They're just starting with soup. Because in Okinawa, food isn't just food. It's preparation for walking, for gardening, for kneeling, for standing tall. It's why you see an 86-year-old sweeping leaves with steady grace, or a 91-year-old climbing a ladder to pick fruit, without fear of falling. And here's the truth I didn't expect. It's not about the soup, it's about the intention. The act of saying, before I ask my body to perform, I will take care of it. Most of us don't do that. We wait until our knees hurt, until our back tightens, until movement becomes a chore. But in Okinawa, they eat before the struggle. They nourish so the struggle doesn't come. That shift, from reacting to preparing, changed everything for me. And it starts with a bowl. Simple, steady, quietly powerful. So what exactly is in this bowl? What makes a handful of humble ingredients powerful enough to support joints, muscles, and energy, even after 60? Let's take a look inside and see how each spoonful becomes a tool for strength. When I first saw the soup, I almost laughed. It looked plain. No fancy spices, no Instagram-worthy swirl. Just warm broth, soft vegetables, and a calm kind of aroma that felt more like a memory than a meal. But inside that bowl, it turns out there was strategy. Every single ingredient chosen not for trend, but for function. Let's take a look inside. 1. The base, bone broth or kelp dashi. If you use bone broth, you're sipping collagen, gelatin, and amino acids like glycine and proline, all critical for rebuilding cartilage and easing stiff joints. If you use kelp dashi, a seaweed broth, you get magnesium for muscle relaxation, iodine for thyroid support, and fucoidan, a natural compound that calms inflammation and supports immune health. Both are rich in minerals. Both go straight to work at the cellular level. 2. Ginger and daikon, the anti-inflammatory duo. These are more than flavor. Ginger warms the body, boosts circulation, and reduces stiffness. Daikon radish helps digestion, flushes toxins, and keeps nutrients moving where they need to go. Together they tell your body, wake up, it's time to move, with ease. 3. Protein, thinly sliced pork or tofu. Just a few bites, pork, slow cooked, offers B vitamins, zinc, and collagen, perfect for joint repair and muscle recovery. Tofu, the plant-based alternative, brings calcium, iron, and soft protein that's easy on aging digestion. It's not about piling on protein. It's about giving your muscles the building blocks they actually use. 4. Carrot and sweet potato, gentle energy, deep repair. These roots aren't just colorful. They offer beta-carotene for cell repair, potassium to reduce cramping, and complex carbs that fuel your body without spiking blood sugar. They're sweet, naturally, so the soup comforts without needing excess salt or artificial flavor. 5. Shiitake mushrooms, immunity and recovery. These add earthiness and something rare, ergothioneine, a unique amino acid that protects your mitochondria, your cell's energy engines. Healthier mitochondria, getting more stamina, less fatigue. Think of it as charging the battery in every muscle fiber. 6. Miso, the gut's best friend. If you choose to add a spoon of miso at the end, never boil it, you're getting live probiotics that support digestion, improve mineral absorption, and even support mood. In Okinawa, miso isn't seasoning, it's medicine. Each of these ingredients has a job. Each one supports a part of you that may have been quietly asking for help. And together, they form a kind of edible encouragement, a message to your joints, muscles, and mind that says, you still belong here, you're still strong, let's move today. So what happens when you actually eat this soup? I mean, really, what changes can you feel? In the next part, I'll tell you exactly what happened the first time I tried it, and why just 24 hours later I started moving differently. I wasn't expecting much. It was just soup, after all. That morning, I stood in my kitchen, unsure, a little skeptical, watching steam curl from the bowl like a soft exhale. The smell was earthy, gentle, nothing fancy. No fireworks. I took a sip, warm, salty, a little sweet from the carrots. It didn't blow me away, but something about it felt kind, like my body was being seen, maybe for the first time in years. I finished the bowl slowly, sitting by the window. No phone, no rush, just me, the quiet, and this one small act of care. I didn't feel different, not right away. But within an hour, I noticed something subtle. My hands weren't cold. That usual morning tension in my knees, it wasn't there. When I stood up to grab my keys, I didn't brace myself like I normally do. I just stood, easily. I paused, surprised. Then I smiled. It had been a long time since standing felt uneventful. That afternoon, I didn't crash like usual. No heavy legs, no 3 p.m. fog. And the next morning, when I made the soup again, I didn't hesitate. I looked forward to it. Not just for the taste, but for what it made possible. Because it wasn't just soup anymore. It was the feeling of returning to myself, of knowing I'm not done yet. And it happened faster than I thought. Not because it's magic, but because my body had been starving for something simple, real nourishment. So if you're curious, if any part of you is whispering, maybe this could help me too, then join me. Just 3 mornings, 1 bowl, and a quiet promise to yourself. Let's talk about the 3-day soup challenge and how it might just wake up your legs and your life. Let's try something simple. Not a diet, not a detox, not a resolution that fades by Friday. Just 3 mornings, 1 pot, 1 bowl, and 1 quiet decision. I want to feel strong again. We call it the 3-day soup challenge. And here's how it works. Step 1, make the soup. You don't need a Japanese market or a chef's kitchen. Just a small pot and a short list. Water, a slice of ginger, a few root vegetables, carrot, sweet potato, turnip, a protein, tofu or thin pork slices, a little seaweed or miso, optional mushrooms, if you have them. Let it simmer. Let it fill the kitchen. Let the act of making it become part of the healing. Step 2, sip slowly. Before anything else, drink the soup first. Before coffee, before email, before the world rushes in. Sit, sip, feel, no TV, no phone. Just you. Notice your breath. Notice your legs. Notice how warmth travels through you. Step 3, pay attention, without pressure. This isn't about proving anything, just notice. Are your knees less stiff when you stand? Do your hands feel warmer by mid-morning? Is it easier to walk to the mailbox or carry groceries? Even small shifts matter. They're signs that your body, after years of being ignored, is responding. And here's something beautiful. You don't have to do it alone. Invite someone, a friend, a partner, your sister, your dad. Make the soup together. Share your mornings. Compare your notes. Healing is easier and more joyful when it's shared. At the end of day 3, pause. Look back. You might notice something more than physical. A bit more confidence when you rise. A quieter mind. A feeling you haven't had in years. I'm capable. I'm steady. I still belong in motion. And if you feel that, even just a flicker, then what comes next might be even more important. Because this isn't just about soup. It's about a quiet revolution. 1 bowl at a time. Let's talk about what it means to eat with intention, especially after 60, if I could go back to the version of me who stood up slowly, who winced when tying shoes, who thought stiffness was just the new normal. I'd say this, you're not broken, you're not too late, you're just undernourished and a little too used to rushing. We were never taught that food could be strength. We were taught it should be fast, cheap, or comforting. But in Okinawa, they taught me something else, that every bite carries a message that says, you matter today. You still have places to go. Let's help your body carry you there. This soup, it's not about turning back time. It's about turning toward yourself, with kindness, with care, with the quiet power of intention. So tomorrow morning, before the news, before the emails, before the world starts asking so much of you, ask one small thing for you, a bowl, a breath, a chance to remind your body that you're still here and you still want to move through life on your own 2 feet, because aging isn't the enemy. Neglect is. And your legs, they're not giving up. They're just waiting for support. If this video spoke to you, leave a comment. Tell me what that first bowl felt like. Share it with someone whose legs, whose freedom, whose hope still matters. Because it's never too late to eat like you still have dreams to chase. And it's never too early to say, I choose strength, 1 morning at a time.